Welcome to Energy is Currency, hosted by your favorite entrepreneur, your favorite business consultant and support system, Lexi. I am Alexis Williams, or Lexi as everybody knows me. And welcome back to episode 3. I'm hoping that you guys caught up on episodes 1 and 2, where you got to know me and one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Uno, my divine masculine. He is hilarious to me. And I know y'all thought he was crazy too. It's all good. I just want to drop in with the 3rd episode. So, first and foremost, how are you? You got to be able to check into your feelings. So, as most of you guys know, in addition to being a business leader, I am a yoga instructor. And I do that so that I can keep myself balanced and healthy and happy, mentally, physically, and spiritually, before I reach any of my clients or take on any other business venture. I gotta be right with self. And one thing I'm really big on in yoga is really just getting present, checking in with how you feel. And one of the things that I have done with my yoga class is I close out every class with the pledge to use your emotions as an indicator, not as an overrider. How often do we feel something and just run with it? And then when you come back and you look at some of your more looked over options, you like, oh, maybe I could have done that a little differently, you know what I'm saying? But just really checking in with yourself and taking that time to use your emotions to create new opportunities, as opposed to letting it override your system, dominate your day, shift your mood, shift your interactions, and ultimately, as an entrepreneur, shift your money. And that's, you mad when other people play about a check, but how many times have you self-sabotaged a check because you couldn't check your emotions? I'm going to get into that in a second. No, we're going to handle that now. Blue. Okay. Because it's Black History Month, and because I am so artfully, anarchically, if that's a word, gratefully Black, right? I'm going to go for making sure that the Black community is always supported, especially Black business owners, right? Let me take a second to get settled because I want to say this the right way. Y'all have got to develop an infrastructure for how you manage and run your day-to-day operations as a business. Flat out. I'm going to expound on it, but I need you to understand this. It's work to be done. And it cannot be an emotionally guided situation. When it comes to customer service and sealing the deal, closing the sale, you cannot allow your emotions, especially your negative emotions, to dominate your experience. And that goes to any business owner, but in the Black community, and I ain't never going to be in a position to down anybody. This is an opportunity for growth. Check that. There's room for growth. Let's be real. For sure. So what I mean by that is communication, professional communication. If DMs, text messages, and emails are your primary form of communication, set up a procedure, a structure, a definitive method for how you interact with your clients. Because your mood cannot dictate your sales. Flat out. Check in with yourself. Some days you ain't in a mood to be a salesman, and some days, especially when money is tight, you got all the sales spirit flowing through you, flowing freely. All the sales, get the sales, receive the sales, right? But when you ain't in a mood, be honest with yourself. How many business deals have you self-sabotaged? I'm guilty. We ain't gonna play Lexi better than anybody else game. Nope, I'm guilty. Cool, whatever, boo. Got the t-shirt to prove it. Who gonna fight me? But I'm not gonna fight me. But I'm going to set up a nice little system so that I can duplicate my own process. Flat out. So for instance, like I said, if text messaging, written communication is your chief form of communication, why not write out pre-written scripts for your text messages that include all the information you need, that have some emotional pull like, hey, this is Alexis from HQ Hair Clinic. So excited to meet you. Before your first appointment, why don't you give my website a view, www.hqhairclinic.com. Maybe check out my Instagram page, get a feel for the environment at HQ Hair Clinic on Instagram. Send them links. Let them know, hey, my hours for communication with clients are on Mondays and Tuesdays from this hour to whatever your real life structure is. Tell people that ahead of time. And that way on a Sunday, if they try to reach out to you, all you have to do is honor your boundaries that you clearly established with them in the first time. And say, no, it's Sunday. I don't send out the messages. I don't respond on Sundays. And then let's follow through. You stand on it. Because like I said, when that spirit of catch the sales come up in you, Sundays is a working day too. And then that's not consistent with your self-care. You're doing your clients a disservice. And for real, congratulations, you're playing yourself. So make it simple, make it easy, duplicate your process. Write down your out-of-office notes. Just like they got pre-filled emails for out-of-office, you can do that for your text messages and set it up. Honey, Hair by Uno has it already pre-filled on his Instagram page. Bloop. And that way it's automatic. It ain't personal. It don't matter how he feel because his business can operate without him because he set up structure ahead of time. And you're capable of doing this. And I promise you, if this is even an in-person if all of your communication is in person, develop a communication structure. If you have to hunt down clients and set appointments and whatnot, develop a structure for it. I remember one of my favorite mentors gave me a quick sales hack. He said, hey, develop a schedule that you can honor. Cool. Step 1. 2, when you're speaking to people who are prospective clients, give them 2 options. Hey, you want to book an appointment? Awesome. I have Tuesdays and Thursdays available. Don't matter if you booked all the way week. If those are 2 days you know you want to fill up, prioritize it. They don't need to know all your business. Figure out where you want your clients to be and put them there. Developers, because this is the thing, especially in the hair industry. People will enjoy that you don't have boundaries. They're going to love that you work holidays and Sundays and whenever they call, first thing in the morning, late thing at night. You ready to do it whenever they call. They enjoy you being at their disposal. So if you don't set boundaries for yourself, guess what? You will always be at their disposal. And I don't know if that's the kind of life you live, but that's not my ministry. The good Lord didn't bring me here to do that. No, baby. No. So I am going to honor myself personally and set up my business professionally so that I can be balanced and present to myself on those times. If it's a Sunday and my intro, text, email, DM says that I don't work on talk on Sundays, I gotta hold myself to that so that I can treat myself better. That's my down day. As well as if it's a Monday, I have to push through and stay disciplined. This is the day I respond to all my communications. This is the day I set up my meetings. This is the day that I do this. This is the day that I do that. Whatever it is, honor it. This is the thing between motivation. Motivation is emotional. It makes you feel like you should do this. Discipline is logical. Discipline says, you ain't got no doggone business taking off an extra day when you got this much work setting up. Get to work. And lately, we're going to have another transparent moment. I have had to train myself to stop bullshitting. Pardon my language. Stop BSing. And it has to be that crisp and that clear. When I'm like, oh, but I don't feel like it. Oh, but I'm just going to watch 2 more episodes. Oh, my cats are so snuggly. How am I supposed to type if they're so cuddly? And then I hear another voice that comes in my head and is like, bro, so Lex, stop BSing and get your work done. And it feels like when the street lights used to come on and it was time to go back in the house. It's my street lights. And it makes me turn myself right back in the house, sit down at my laptop, distractions and get into my bag. So imagine if you did more of that and less of making up these excuses with the structure in place. You're literally planning how to have a good day because you know you're going to get the stuff done that you need to get done. You know you're going to check in with yourself and take care of yourself. You know that you're going to take good care of your customers because all you got to do is plug and play, you know? Like, develop a lifestyle and a business lifestyle that supports you, and creating a infrastructure, a training system, a standard behavior for yourself prevents poor activity. And that goes for anybody's business, but with so much energy being focused on Black community and our bad customer service and this, that, and the third. No, we just don't have the training. We just haven't made it to that HR portion. We just haven't made it to that script of when the customer says this, you say that. And that happens in other listen, if you want to learn how to do this, go to the car lot. If a customer says, well, no, I don't have enough money for this, well, we got financing. Oh, well, you know, this car is a little bigger. Well, it's great for your family. And they come up with an excuse, a plug and play, where if you go whichever way you say, they're going to come up with a way to bring you back to that sale. And nasty attitudes and unprepared attitudes run people off no matter what they say. Flat out. We gonna move with transparency in 2021. And that's just the truth. So, bloop. That's that on that. That's why Mary had the little lamb. We figured it out. And let's move on. You good with that? I'm good with that. Let's move. So, the next thing that I want to talk about is the story. And this really is for anybody and everybody who has any thinking thoughts. Like, everybody can benefit from this, right? So, letting go of the story means acknowledging that we're creating narratives and perspectives and scenarios in our head nonstop that's either encouraging us to get it done, to achieve, to receive and have abundance, or we are creating a narrative, a perspective, a belief system in our minds to stop us from receiving, to stop us from growing, to stop us from evolving. Now, that second story is the one you got to watch out for. And it's the one that probably is the strongest and you are the least aware of. That's how we made. Until you know better, you're not going to know better. It's just, I don't know what else to tell you. So, the story is, okay. So, and I love that I've been having these kind of conversations because this came up in conversation the other day. And this is something that I learned and I talk about in Catnip's podcast, so check out my old show. But meanwhile, it's about the identity and the wheel of suffering. So the wheel of suffering, in short layman's terms, is like how we experience something and we decide how attached to it we're going to become. And anything you add I, me, mine to becomes a part of your identity. So if you say, that's mine, you're identifying with it. If you say, oh, that is so me, you are identifying with it. How many memes have we done that with? You know, or I am in so much pain, or I hate this, or they're mean to me. Like, all of these stories include you into it, right? Which attaches you to the story. And I was having a really good conversation recently, and I said the more context that you add to the story, the more fear you create. So if the story started off, and when I tell you I'm so notorious for this, because I enjoy it. I think it's entertaining. I love how shit escalates. But check this out. The story will start off, oh, I was walking out of the apartment complex and a man with his dog were walking in. That's the first version. Then the next version comes, the man comes sweeping the door open aggressively and the dog charges at me. That's the second story. And then it gets to, oh my God, and the dog was lunging at me, and the owner could barely restrain the dog, and it was trying to maul me and kill me, bite my face off. I felt like I was losing my nose. Like my chin was literally dissipating from my face, and the walls were caving in on me. I thought I was gonna die. I saw white lights. Oh my God, okay? Do you hear how that story escalated? And now it meant to be. But just pay attention, like, do you be doing that? And then, are you aware that you be doing that? And if so, how do you stop yourself? How do you stop yourself from telling that long ass story? Especially if it's a fear-based one. Especially if you're convincing yourself, like, not to take on a new opportunity, or not to try out a new connection, or not to do whatever. When that story gets bigger, telling you not to do it, when you know full and well that it's something you want to do, how do you stop the story? You got to play Mythbuster and treat it like let's check the validity of all of these stories. And I love my friends because they be having to do that sometimes. Like, Lexi, then in the first story, when did like a poodle, when did it turn into an Akita? And you be like, what? Are you calling me a liar? They start attacking me in the story, and it's like, wait, you're right, it was a poodle. And the story gets smaller again. And then it's like, but wait, the dog never came near you at all. So the face biting, the chin mauling, that didn't happen either. The story is getting a little smaller, ain't it? And then you're like, wait, so the walls weren't caving in on you, and you weren't necessarily having a panic attack. Okay, the story is getting even more smaller. And you get back present with what actually happens and what's happening around you, and you realize that everything is exactly how it should be. That you're okay, that you're protected, that you are loved, that you are loved. You see those things when you get grounded. And the less and less details, the less and less the more you detach yourself from the story, the weight of it comes off of you too. So I mentioned identity earlier because I love this example. I read it in one of my yoga books during yoga training. I'll look it up and post it somewhere or whatever. But in this book, it talked about this rubber band ball representing your total identity. And on this rubber band ball, each rubber band itself represents an I am statement, a statement that includes you, me, mine, me, mine, all of that, right? Every single rubber band individually is an identity, which within itself is flimsy, elastic, can go here, there, everywhere, right? Cool. Can land anywhere. The accumulation of them becomes heavy, weighted, dense, less agile. It's solid in structure because you have all of these rubber bands interlaced, all of these identities, all these me, this big, elaborate, contextual story of who you are. But what if some of that shit ain't serving you? What if you're holding on to something that happened 20 years ago and you survived it over and over, but you never went and updated your identity? Oh, this happened to me in 1996, but it's 2021. You evolved out, baby. It's no longer yours. You can let that go. And that is a much lengthier process than it is said, but you're capable because you were capable of surviving whatever you've attached yourself to. So I know you can do it. But do you take that time to do emotional inventory about your identity? Why do I feel like I am this? Do I have to be this? Do I have to be the strong black woman all the time? Or can I be the phenomenal black woman? Do I always just have to survive? All I get is to survive? Or can you give yourself permission to thrive and excel and be abundant and make big requests of the universe and big requests of yourself? Can you give yourself permission to do that? Because we spend so much time playing small and acting like we're incapable while we're lugging around these identities that are proving that, and that's what's holding you back, how you think of yourself, not anything else. It's always you versus you. It's never you versus anybody else. It's you versus how you choose to handle it. Do you give yourself space to create the identity that you feel is most authentic and aligned to you? If somebody trying you and the first thing you say is, they got me fucked up, you've attached yourself to their anger, and now you on the same level as they are. Is that what we go? Is that we still doing that? Damn. Or take a step back, recognize that their anger, their immaturity is theirs to own and theirs to identify with. And if it don't resonate, it don't feel good, it don't look good on you, you ain't gotta do it. Only do what you feel aligned to. Move with confidence that you are protected in all of your decisions. Especially in business, especially in love, especially with how you treat yourself, especially how you treat others, especially how you treat animals, especially cats. Take out time to do inventory. Check your identity. Are you holding on to stuff that no longer serves you? Are you still in survival mode 20, 30, 40 years later? How big is your story? That's been my biggest opportunity for growth, is changing my identity by how I identify myself. I extend that opportunity for growth to you, should you choose to accept it. Blam. So, we covered two things today. Two really big, heavy things, right? One was duplicate your business process so that your emotions do not self-sabotage sales. Pre-write as much communication as you possibly can. Pre-write your boundaries and your hours of operation, and hold yourself accountable. If you off. If you own. Let out. Next, let go of the story and stop bullshitting yourself. Learn how to move through your mind into where you need to be. Don't allow your thoughts and old identities to dictate and limit new opportunities. Take time to do inventory over yourself. What am I attaching myself to? And be honest, if you find resistance with anything, that's an opportunity for growth. That ain't me. I don't do that. Yeah, that's an opportunity for growth. Boo-boo. Sorry. So, I think these are heavy enough, and I think these are beneficial enough for you to digest. Maybe listen to Energy is Currency twice. I ain't gonna be mad. You can find me on so many platforms. I'm so grateful to be available, to record this show and chill with dope people. If you're watching this, we are on YouTube. Bloop. And you can always listen to it on SoundCloud, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Breaker Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Podcasts, Radio Public, and Spotify, baby. We hooked up. We everywhere. Please comment, tell me your thoughts. What do you think about the episode? Did I get it wrong? Was it some gems? What did you learn? How you feeling? Let a player know. I want to be able to support you in your professional and personal endeavors in whatever way I can. You can learn more about me as a business consultant on blushbizonline.com, BLUSHBIZ online.com. And I'm at your disposal. Check out more info of the show at Energy is Currency Pod on Instagram. And I'll be back soon with another dope interview from another industry leader. It's a surprise. You gotta be there to see it. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week, amazing life on purpose. And remember, energy is currency if time is money. Have a great day, baby.